Okay, so this is the Lefty. I am looking at my cabinet that I'm building. I've got speakers installed right now. I also got the board set up. It's not completely wired yet, if you can see here. If you know anything about joysticks or any of that stuff. It's not all completely wired up yet, and I'm going to get some shorter bolts there for the joystick. But otherwise, we are good to go. Speakers sound good. We got a pretty good list of games here. I'm going to rotate the phone here. So we've pretty much got all the King of Fighters on this system. We also have Mark of the Wolves. There is some Street Fighters action. We've got all the original Street Fighters. We've got all the Metal Slugs. It's pretty awesome. So this is a system from Hong Kong. It's called Pandora's Box. And basically what this does is this emulates all the games very similar to a MAME cabinet. Very cool. Let me start going here. There we go. But as you can tell, add some credits there. Okay. So as you can tell, the video quality is pretty good. It does upconvert to 1080p, which is pretty nice. I have it in 720 mode right now, just so we can. I don't know, just so it looks a little cleaner. 1080p obviously looks cleaner in HD, but it makes the pixels really, really jagged, whereas this does not. So it looks pretty good. You can get this model with HDMI. I have it with VGA, so I can do the 720, which is native. So it's pretty cool. Sound is good, as you can tell. I got two 5x7s in it, and you gotta go with the classic. And we have it set for 6 buttons. You could do 8 if you want. But as you can tell here, I'm going to jump here. It's going to be jumping. Throwing grenades. And this is the vanilla version of the game. What's really cool is there's also standard versions of expanded versions of the games. So let's go ahead and go back to the beginning here by holding down start and coin. Now, if you go down, you'll see that you have 4, 5, and 6, and later on in the list, you'll actually see plus versions of some of the games. And the plus versions were either updated copies of the games or updated versions of the machines, or it'll actually be one that has been modified to do something different. A good example would be some of the Street Fighters I have from Street Fighter 2 and onwards that actually changed some of the moves and some of the frames and the attacks to make it a little more difficult for some players to practice with, which is pretty cool. And you can never go wrong with the Jackie Chan fighting game. I'm just kidding. It's pretty terrible. But there's some really good games on here. This version has 645. The newest one that's out right now is, I think, Pandora 5. Pandora 5 came out this year, and it adds, I think, 20 new titles. So it's very cool. It works extremely well. When this cabinet is completely done, we're going to have it set up for a whole other controller here. So we'll have 2 players. You can do, in this model of the Pandora's Box, it's only wired for 2. That's the only downside I see with this setup, is that there are some 4-player or multiplayer games that have more than 4 people that this would really benefit from, but you unfortunately can't do it in this game. I think there's a way to add more wires to the harness for JAMA, but you'd have to actually know your JAMA harnesses to get that set up. But yeah, works pretty well. I'll do a side cabinet view here. This is kind of my hybrid cabinet design. It's low profile, so you can put it up against a wall. I've actually, I took the front panel off here. I've got a shelf here that I have for my consoles, so I can do PS3 or Xbox 360 plugged directly into the back of the screen. The screen is a 27-inch Asus IPS monitor. It's brand new. It does a great job, as you can tell, even in this recording on this phone. There is no viewing angle that's really obscured with this, so it looks really good no matter where you're standing, so you can watch it with your friends as they play. Really cool. And then going to the back here, it's kind of a tangle of wires because I haven't really gotten all nailed down yet, but basically have an arcade power supply, and that powers your board, and this right here is your Pandora's Box. And like I said, this is the VGA model. It has one mono speaker comes out, but what's cool is you can set up the headphone jack that is mono to 2 speakers, which is what I did here. So you have your 2 speakers going at once, which it just thinks is mono, which is pretty cool. I also have a small amplifier that I ordered, this guy right here. This little guy right here is set up for 2 channels, but by dualing it to 1 speaker in mono mode, it will trick it into running both speakers in mono mode, which is pretty cool. So, and as you can tell, the interior, it's pretty stable. I've got metal bracing on the inside. I've also got multiple lag bolts holding the sides and the control panels in. I also have a good way to access all the connections for the TV here on the back and the monitor, as well as just overall stability through the monitor through the back. So it's pretty stable. When it's all done in paint, it's going to be black and red, which is pretty cool. I'm going to put some decals and stuff on it. I'm also going to, on the top here, I do have plexiglass. I don't know if you can see right here next to the weight bench. I've got a nice sheet of plexiglass, and I'm actually going to lay that optics plexiglass across the top here and make that the new play area, so it's not just the bare wood. And then I'll put decals and stuff on that too. So it'll be really nice when it's done. This is just a short little introduction vid to let people see what I've been doing. It's been going on for a couple months now, so. But there it is. That is the Lefty arcade cabinet.